Okay, folks, it is chapter 19, Speed, Agility, and Quickness Training Concepts, NASM 7th edition certification, personal training certification course textbook. And as always, have a sheet of paper and writing implement. This is a relatively short chapter, Speed, Agility, and Quickness, or SAQ training for short, is just the easy way to think about it. And it's a short chapter for a reason. It's a pretty specific type of training. Now, you may think that it's only for athletes, but in fact, it's not. We do SAQ training all the time for everybody. It normally occurs during the cardiorespiratory training. So we'll do, and by the way, it's fun stuff. Then that's why I'm saying we actually do this a fair bit with even older populations and youth. We use cones, we do drills during the cardio phase to make it interesting and fun. There's a lot of benefit to teaching speed, agility, and quickness skills to all populations. Now, obviously, we're not just going to be working on speed and having individuals run faster and faster with the majority of the populations that we deal with. But agility is important. It could be very effective, very helpful. And then quickness, of course. So the speed, of course, is just the ability to move at a high rate in a forward fashion, right? Running fast. So that's speed. Agility is the ability to make adjustment and changes in direction while you're doing, and by the way, maintaining balance and coordination while you're doing it. Simply running and cutting to your left and falling over, that's not good agility. It's the ability to maintain core stabilization and balance while you're making directional changes in a efficient, effective way. And so basically, you can move quickly in different directions. That's what agility is. And we see this all the time, obviously, in sports. Many sports require high levels of agility, efficiency. And then there's quickness. That's basically the ability to react. That's reaction time to stimulus, different things that are occurring. So quickness, for instance, football players need to be right. If you're a running back, you basically have to have all three of these training capabilities at the highest level, right? Handoff, fast. You've got to run fast, but then as soon as the middle linebacker is about to nail you, you need to be able to change direction quickly without falling over, right? You also have to be able to, out of the corner of your eye, be quick enough to react to the other defensive the guy that's going to try and tackle you and hit you and plant your head in the ground. So speed, agility, and quickness, SAQ training. Now look, for the average client though, we do some speed training. We try to get them to, say, run up a flight of stairs a little bit quicker. We sometimes will do shuttle runs, which requires a little bit more speed and agility, right? The change in direction. We'll do other cone training drills to get that agility, back and forth. And then you can also do quickness drills with individuals, quickness as well as upper body quickness drills, like handing a med ball to a client, but not telling them which direction you're going to throw it, right? You face them and then you throw it to the left. Then they have to quickly accommodate for where the ball is going. These are all parts of the SAQ training concept. And of course, the question is, how do you develop the program? And when you get to the bottom of page 593, we get to a basic but really important concept of what's known as front and rear mechanics, or backside mechanics, front side mechanics and backside mechanics. And that simply describes in the front of the body what the biomechanics are that are occurring when you're trying to run fast, for instance. And the terms that we use are what are called triple flexion and triple extension. Helpful hint here is a good box to look at. It's a perfect there's a perfect representation of triple extension and flexion on page 594. When you run, the forward leading leg goes into what's called triple flexion. As the forward leg moves, triple flexion occurs. So you have flexion at the hip, flexion at the knee, and flexion at the ankle, dorsiflexion at the ankle. So you can see where all three of those happen simultaneously. And now simultaneously, that's the front side mechanics. So triple flexion in the front, and then as the foot plants and you start to move forward with the other leg now becoming the lead leg, that leg that was in triple flexion now goes through triple extension. So you have simultaneously the hip is extending, knee is extending, and you're going into plantar flexion at the ankle. And so that's how that works with the front side and back side mechanics, kinetic chain, checkpoints during running movements on table 19. Okay, the comments give you sort of an insight into kind of what's happening at that particular kinetic checkpoint. So agility and then quickness are just defined here for you. Again, proprioception is a sidebar definition, just a review. Speed, agility, quickness for non-athletic population. So what NASM has done is it's taken what has normally been recognized as an athletic training for conditioning and really put it into the non-athletic community. And it's actually something that can be very beneficial, very helpful to non-athletes. And on the bottom of page 496, we're getting into SAQ training programs for youth. The goal really is to keep the frequency down to once or twice a week. You can do these drills more because it's not like they're putting an extensive level of stress like plyometric training is, for instance. So compare plyometric training to SAQ training. You might do, as a table 19.2 shows, 4, 5, or 6 drills, and this is for youth. Here's the number of sets. And by the way, they're going to put all of this together into a compilation table for you, so you can see how SAQ training and drills are designed for non-athletes. Training for weight loss. I know you're probably thinking, wow, SAQ training for weight loss. Well, in reality, SAQ training is really incorporated into the other basic training components. So is it strict SAQ training for weight loss? Not really. What you're doing is you're incorporating these into a total integrated training model, which makes sense. And then circuits for weight loss population. So they're just giving you a example, a sample circuit, 2 different sample circuits. Older adults, of course, can benefit from SAQ. Again, not normally the speed part of it, but you can even do speed walking if you wanted to. The goal is to get SAQ training, really, remember, is designed around making progressions in speed and agility, changing direction, as well as reactionary drills. You can do that at lower levels, and that's basically what they're talking about here. So drills and programming strategies. It's a really good idea to memorize table 19.3 because these type of exercises and sets rep variables that they're giving you, they do like to ask, particularly on a test. So you really should know these. Now, let's take a step back for a second. When you're trying to memorize tables, one of the best things to do is to look for similarities in either columns or rows. Normally it's going to be columns. And you'll notice that the sets and the rep schemes are pretty close, pretty similar. So you shouldn't have any issue knowing an intermediate and advanced repetition range or set range, because it's not like you're dealing with beginners doing 1 set and advanced doing 25 to 28 sets. No, it's 1 to 2, 3 to 4, and 3 to 5. So it's not that difficult to memorize. The amount of rest in between your sets, of course, anywhere from 15, big range, 15 seconds to a minute. Speed ladder drills. These are just other examples of ways that you can incorporate these SAQ drills into a training program. It's not a bad idea to know 1-ins and 2-ins. And you've probably done these before, but if you memorize these, not too difficult to memorize, you might see them actually on an exam. So SAQ cone drills, again, I was saying, we use cone drills all the time. They're number one, they're a lot of fun for most folks, and they really do offer a way to develop agility and quickness. You can actually be a part of it with an individual by adding some external elements while they're doing the drills to make it interesting and fun. I would do this with athletes when we would do basic cone drills, and I would have a tennis ball, and I'd make sure that they were looking at me, and when they would do a particular movement, I would throw the tennis ball at them and make sure that they could react and do their directional changes, and we just do that over and over, and it develops this ability, this neuromuscular facilitation to actually react and deal with the changing environment. It also gives a lot of visual acuity as well. It's really very effective. So box drills, the LEFT, left drill, there are different ways to do this. And again, I would go through the material here. I would look at it, I would write it, rewrite it, and know what box drills are designed for. Know how to actually do a box drill, because you'll definitely want to be using this with clients. Trust me, these are almost a standard part of training programs that we use, particularly in group training, to make things fun and interesting and give some competition with multiple clients, just as a for instance. But for individual one-on-one training clients, you definitely would want to be using these. Once again, keep in mind that you've got to keep the training interesting and fun. And this is by far one of the best ways to do it. Remember to read your summary, your chapter review, and of course your highlight on your bullet points. And that's going to finish chapter 19. And I'm looking forward to going over chapter 20 with you next.